What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All the Mods 7 to the Sky. Guys, guess what? I just recorded an entire episode with no audio. That's fun. So you'll notice behind me, there's a whole bunch of machines and they're over here doing stuff. When we get closer, they get really loud. Yeah, so I decided it was a good idea for us to continue on with the improbable probability device here. We wanted to make the solar recharging unit, and in order to make that, we needed polonium. So in order to make polonium, there's a lot of steps involved. We need a pressurized reaction chamber, and in order to do that, we need fluoride dust mixed with polonium and some kind of a fluid over here. I think this can actually just be water. And that makes our polonium pellet, and we get spent nuclear waste. So the spent nuclear waste we're going to have to deal with at some point in the future. But yeah, that is where we're at. So we need to make this liquid polonium. So in order to make liquid polonium, we have to have a solar neutron activator. Actually, this might be gaseous, not liquid. Mekanism likes to make two different flavors of things, and not all of them are labeled gas if they are a gas. I think this is actually a gas. But anyway, solar neutron activator is what we're going to need with nuclear waste to make the polonium. Nuclear waste we can obtain in a fission reactor, right? So a fission reactor is going to take fissile fuel mixed with something. I think you can actually just use water in this, and you'll output steam, and then you get that nuclear waste. Okay, so that seems fine. Fissile fuel, we need an isotropic centrifuge in order to make uranium hexafluoride turn into it. So yeah, anyway, we went through all of this process here, so let's take a look at what we got. So we have a pulverizer here that is taking sulfur. We're just importing, or I guess exporting sulfur from our applied energistic system into a pulverizer. That is going into a chemical oxidizer here, and that is turning that into sulfur dioxide. And that sulfur dioxide we are ejecting through that pipe to turn it into sulfur trioxide. So in order to do that, we need to get ourselves oxygen. So we have electrolytic separator taking in water. We're outputting oxygen, and hydrogen we're just throwing away. We're dumping the excess. We don't need that. So both of those combined, the oxygen plus the sulfur trioxide makes sulfur, the sulfur dioxide makes sulfur trioxide. That comes over to make sulfuric acid when you mix it with water vapor, apparently. So yeah, we have water vapor, sulfur trioxide, and we are ejecting sulfuric acid over into this machine, a chemical dissolution chamber. So this machine is making hydrofluoric acid out of sulfuric acid by putting in some fluoride, right? So sulfuric acid, fluoride, then we get hydrofluoric acid. So that comes over into this machine to make the uranium hexafluoride by mixing it with uranium oxide. And we are getting uranium oxide out of this machine here, a chemical oxidizer, by putting yellow cake uranium. This is not the same yellow cake that your mom used to make, by the way. Yellow cake uranium in the chemical oxidizer is making uranium oxide. Yeah, this stuff here. And that ends up turning into uranium hexafluoride. So that gets ejected into the bottom of this isotropic centrifuge. And this here turns into a fissile fuel. Okay, so yes, it's a lot of setup here to get this all going, but we were able to do it. All the power, well, I guess we could show you guys under here. Yeah, all the power is just coming out of one point right there. We're ejecting, or I guess extracting out of two different pipes here. And then, yeah, all the power is being supplied from the bottom. So that is what we're doing there. Then we just have one sink that's ejecting water into both of these two machines right here. All right, so I need this stone brick back like so. Yep, so this was a whole mess of machines that we had to set up in order to get this going, but now we are at the point of making fissile fuel. So one thing you might notice is my hotbar has fewer things on it. Yeah, so let's explain this real quick. In the lower right hand corner, you can see there is a yellow icon with a plus on it. Maybe it looks like a piece of bread. Yeah, so that is giving me saturation 3. So we set up at the beginning of the episode, you guys are not going to see. You can see right down there, there's like some kind of weird dot and it just appears through everything. Yeah, so we set up what is called an environmental controller. An environmental controller with a saturation plus module. This module gives saturation 3 bonus when using the environmental controller. So yes, we have this set up to be at the lowest height of our base at Y53 to Y79, and we put this at a radius at 65, which essentially encompasses the entire base. So basically, no matter where you're standing inside the base, we are getting the saturation 3 effect. The reason why I wanted to do this is every time I'd log into the world, my HP would be reset down to the 10 red hearts that you normally get in vanilla Minecraft. But since we're playing modded, you can see I have the full orange hearts and then half yellow hearts on top of that. So whenever I'd log into the world, the game would be like, oh, your HP isn't full. Let me just go ahead and use the food that you have and fill it all up. And I would constantly be hungry just from logging out and then logging back in because I was trying to refill all of my hearts. So I decided that getting that environmental controller in there to give us food all the time made a lot of sense. So we don't have to keep eating our avocado toast to fill it up. In fact, I had to eat 2 pieces in order to not be hungry every time I logged in. I know it's not a big deal. Like we could make that stuff pretty easily, but it was just an annoying thing. And I felt like it made a lot of sense to do that. Okay, so I started putting things that are on my hotbar that I didn't need anymore in our white pouch, but we were running out of space. So I made a second pouch here. And this second pouch is one that I'm keeping like tools that are mostly infrequently used. Yeah, so like mega torches, I've had those in my pouch for forever. We used them like pretty early on, and then I haven't really done much with them since. So yeah, those are just kind of chilling in there along with all these other things that we do use, just not frequently. This wrench, I use that a lot. These universal pipes I use pretty often. These pipe upgrades I use pretty often. So yeah, I'm just going to keep this black ender pouch inside our white ender pouch that has all of our tools in it. And then if we ever like lose it, we can always get the stuff back through making an ender chest. It's not a big deal, but if we go somewhere in another dimension, I need food. We got our avocado toast right there. If I need torches at some point, our torches are right here. So yeah, I kind of feel like things that we use sometimes, but not all the time, we can keep in our white pouch, like the pipe wrench or our Fortune 6. In fact, I had to use that earlier because an environmental controller that we made downstairs, we ran out of dimensional shards. And these can be infused onto that machine to make it cost less RF per tick to run. So yeah, I had to go to the end. I got a whole bunch of dimensional shard ore. I Fortune 6'd it. We infused that machine. Let's see. That machine, I do believe, is running at about 800 RF per tick, I think is what it is. And that's to encompass our entire base all the way up to standing up here. And basically the entire circumference of the base with that saturation 3. We could narrow it down so it's only like to here from this wall to that wall, and it'd probably be somewhere around 100 RF per tick, or maybe even less than that. But honestly, I feel like if it's using 800 RF per tick, like who cares? Because we are currently making so much power right now. Yeah, we're making 165,000. We're using a bit more than I would like, honestly, because all these other machines are now running in the background. I think when I set that up previously, we were only using around 60,000 RF per tick. But yeah, these machines over here will shut off once everything fills up, and then all that power will calm down. Oh yeah, okay. So we're using these ultimate pipes, which has a large fluid storage inside each one. Probably not the best idea to do. It's going to take a very long time for all these pipes to fill up completely. Yeah, so these machines are going to be running for a very long time. I use these bigger pipes because I thought that they would move stuff faster, but they have a large internal buffer per pipe. I kind of wish Mekanism had a way where you could use the large transfer pipes, but not have internal storage at all. But either way, I digress. All right, guys, so the next step is, now that we have the Fissile Fuel available, we need to make ourselves a Fission Reactor. Now, I have made a Fission Reactor before in another mod pack, but I did this inside of a compact machines small dimension thing. So like it was nowhere near our base. The problem is with the fission reactor, if it melts down, if it blows up, whatever it does, it pollutes the chunks that it is in, and I think the surrounding chunks nearby. And in order to be in those chunks, you have to have on a hazmat suit. That's not something that I want to have happen anywhere near our base should something go wrong. So we are not going to have that near our base. So yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and go south, probably a few hundred blocks this way. We'll just use chunk loaders or something to keep that active way far away. But yeah, I don't want that near our base. Okay, so in order to make that, we're going to need a few different blocks here. So we're going to need the fission reactor casing. This is the frame of the reactor. And these reactor casings are used in basically every other part for it. So like the fission reactor ports, in order to make 2 of those, you need 4 of those things. The fission fuel rod assembly, I guess that doesn't use any of the casing. That is where the fissile fuel goes in. So these are going to be set up similar to the bigger reactor like we set up before, where we have the fuel rods inside and those get capped off with a control rod assembly at the top. Yeah, so there's a lot that goes into this multi-block. I can't remember if there's a book or something in here. I did look this up previously, so I'll go look it up once again on how to make it all. But yeah, these are the parts that we're going to be using. The fission reactor logic adapter. This allows you to get some redstone information out of it. I don't think we're going to be using that at all. But yeah, the next step is we need to craft up a whole bunch of these fission reactor casings. I'm going to do like 500, probably more than what we need, but we'll start there. I don't know how big of a reactor we're going to make, but yeah, better to have a lot of these things than have to wait on it later. So we'll do that. I do believe also we can do some kind of a glass thing. So not everything is like completely solid. We'll be able to see through it. I'll find out what those items are as well. We'll be back. Okay, so say we fly out 200 blocks away. We're going to be out in the void, right? How do we place a block? So I was trying to find some kind of a thing called angel block, and there is no angel block, but we do have an angel wand core, and it says place behind blocks and in midair. Combine the core on your wand in a crafting grid. So I made this thing. It's not super expensive. It is just some panes, some glass panes, a feather, and 2 gold, right? So yeah, we can place this on our wand, and then if we press shift, it does say wand cores, construction core, and now angel core. So there we go. I don't know how this works though. If we place in midair, like how does it place in midair? Does it know what block I want to use? Yeah, I don't know how this exactly works. Do I combine that with this block? How do I know? How does this thing know which block I want to place? Yeah, that's maybe if I shift right click on it. Yeah, I'm not sure how this thing is gonna work. Okay, so after a little bit of investigation, I figured out how to switch this to the angel core. So now that we have the angel core installed on our wand, we do a shift left click in the air. You might be able to, no, it has to be in the air. So you can switch between the construction core and the angel core. So place blocks behind blocks and in midair, right? So we have a block here. We can right click on this and it'll place a block behind it. That's kind of cool, but that's not what we want. We want to place that in midair. So if we right click in the air, nothing happens. So what you need to do is place the blocks in your offhand. And then when you right click, it'll place it in midair, just like an angel wand. Okay, so that, or I guess like an angel block anyway. That's exactly what we were looking for. So yes, now I can go fly off, go about 200 blocks away, not have anything to place a block against, and just place a block in midair. Alright guys, so I should probably bring you in for this build. I went ahead and I built the entire reactor. Yeah, there's a lot of blocks here, and the reason why I built it all off camera is because I screwed up. I did. Yeah, so I built this thing, and I was like, let's just make it really big. So I ended up making it like 25 by 25 by 25. And that was not a good idea. So if we take a look at fission, you can see in here that I have 2,400 fission fuel assemblies and a bunch more reactor casing in here. And we got a bunch of the control rod stuff in there. yeah, that was enough to make this thing 25 by 25 by 25 and have it all checkerboarded inside with the fuel rods. And I had it all set up and I put it together and it wouldn't form the multi-block. And I was like, what's going on? Yeah, it turns out these things have a maximum size, and I should have looked this up before I decided to go all in. And yeah, the maximum size is 18 by 18 by 18. I have made this a 17 by 17 by 17 just because odd numbers. So yeah, that's the size we got here, and that took me quite a bit of time actually to get this all put together and then figure out what I was doing wrong and then rebuild it. Anyway, so yeah, this is the interface for our fission reactor. We don't have any fissile fuel, and we don't have any water or coolant in here to cool this thing, so we're not going to do anything with this just yet. But yeah, that's what it's looking like right now. This is the stats page. I'm not sure. Max burn rate 1.582 millibuckets per tick. That's actually a lot. We probably won't be using anything close to this number anytime soon. But one thing I do remember about these fission reactors is that they require a whole lot of coolant. You're taking coolant, you're putting it in here to cool the reactor. It's turning that coolant into steam. You can use that steam in a turbine, in a steam turbine, which will condense the steam into water while producing power. And then you got to do something with that water or the steam turbine turns off. So what you can do is fill up the reactor all the way, heat it up, start producing steam, put the steam into the turbine spins, the water condenses, the steam condenses into water, then you can pipe the water from the turbine back into the reactor. So that's what we're going to end up doing. We'll have a closed loop system. So I wanted to have a big store of water for this thing, not just the water that's in here and the water that's in our turbine that we haven't built yet. I wanted to have an extra store of water. So I made this dynamic tank from Mekanism, and this is a 9 by 9 by 9, and this will hold 11 million buckets, 11.664 million buckets. Quite a lot. I don't know if we need that much. This is probably completely unnecessary, but this is what I decided to do. So yeah, we're going to start filling this up full of water. I have not attempted to do any of that yet, so we're going to figure this out. So the middle 5 by 5 on the top of this, we have dynamic valves. That way, if we need to have access to put more pipes connected for either extraction or insertion, that's where we can do that here. So yeah, let's go ahead and set this to extract. How fast are we putting stuff in there? I mean, that's pretty quick. That's pretty quick. But I'll go ahead and extract out of multiple sides since I already connected all these pipes. I don't know if we need multiple extraction points or if this will insert as much as going into that pipe. It looks like we're filling up quite quickly now, actually. Yeah, it just says that there's air in here. So it's, even though these are extracting however much they do, 32 buckets per tick per connection. Yeah, it's extracting that fast as well. So that's fantastic. So this should fill up in almost no time. Yeah, it looks like we're about half full now, even though this can hold millions of buckets. Well, actually, this thing has changed, hasn't it? It now only says 255. Oh, wait, did it change? It changed, so now it says 255 million. No, that's millibuckets. So that's only holding 255,000 buckets? Is that right? I feel like something screwed up here. It was saying a lot more than that. Well, either way. Oh, that's cool. You can visually see the water going up with this glass on here. I like it. Well, either way, we have a buffer that'll kind of give us an idea of what's going on. So what I would like to do is turn one of these into a fluid input. So I think we're going to mess with this one here. I think, let's see, output waste, output coolant, input only. Okay, so we're going to input only water. I think that's what we're going to end up doing here. So I need to get some more ultimate pipes. I'll make, geez, I don't know, 40? Is that going to be enough? Maybe that'll be enough. Yeah, so I made patterns so we can make these ultimate pipes because these are what you want to use with this reactor. The pipes mod is cool and everything, but the pipes mod has a problem with Mekanism, or at least at the time it did. I don't know if they fixed it or not, but when I've used this mod in the past, if you connected a pipes mod pipe to a Mekanism multi-block, the multi-block like forms when you boot up the world, and then the pipes mod doesn't realize that it can now connect. And anyway, every time you like load up the world, you'd have to reconnect the pipe and tell it, hey, there's supposed to be a connection here. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, honestly. So let's see. We want to come up from... Is this where we are? Right here? Yeah, we want to come up from here. Bring that up like so. And of course it is nighttime, because why wouldn't it be? Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And then we just need to connect the extraction to this. So I don't know how many of these we're going to need. Let's do like 9. And then of course we'll just do one of those numbers. I'm stuck. I cannot move. Do that. This guy, that guy. We gotta get the center one still. There it is, and this one. Okay, so those are all connected. So now we're feeding water into the reactor. The reactor's filling up. How are we doing here? So the water is being extracted faster than we're putting into this, because currently we only have 6 connections on this sink, but we have 9 connections here. If we disable 3 of those, I am sure the water would stay at the exact same rate, but that's fine. This is just a temporary thing. We just want to have the buffer of water filled, and we want to have our reactor filled. After that, we're going to disconnect this thing, and then, yeah, we will get this set up the proper way that it will be going forward. But yeah, this is just the intermediate portion of this. Okay, so we have water coming in. So a thing that we're going to have coming out is we're going to have steam. And I think we're going to have the steam come out over here. Output coolant. I think that's how you get the steam out. Okay, so then we have input only. We're going to need a thing for fuel, and then we're going to need a waste output. So yeah, we'll have the water coming in here, the steam coming out there. We'll have the fuel coming in here, and the waste coming out over here. The waste is what we're actually trying to make, and that's how we're going to get to the polonium, remember? So if we go to the polonium and we come to here, this fluid, we get that from nuclear waste and a solar neutron activator, right? So yeah, we need the nuclear waste to do this action. So we will need to make ourselves one of these guys, which is going to require HDPE, which we have not made yet, but that'll be a project for another day. For now, looks like our coolant tank is full. How's this doing down here? This is refilling, very good. Yeah, so all of our water is just about set up here, and we won't have to worry about this for hopefully ever. Yeah, the next thing we're gonna have to do is get our turbines set up. So when we turn this on, our turbine will be able to take the steam, make power, cool down the steam, condense it into the water, and then we need that water flowing back into this tank to complete this loop, right? So that's going to be another thing that we're going to have to look forward to. All right, guys, so that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this episode. Unfortunately, we didn't quite get to this reactor. I wasn't actually planning on doing this reactor today at all, but like I said, we had that problem with the original recording that I was trying to do today. And so now we're kind of stuck with a half project instead of all of the project that I had planned to do. Anyway, yeah, we got a lot of stuff done. I'm looking forward to getting the turbine set up, getting this whole power system online, and then being able to process that nuclear waste into the polonium so we can continue on our quest to getting our creative items. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.